Surse, I hear you are obviously somebody who's done a lot of business and international business here in Panama. So the question I'm kind of wondering is, people might think it sounds daunting to move their business to Panama or to conduct business from here. How is it to actually work here, and why would maybe somebody want to do business here in Panama?
I think it's important to take into account the fact that our relationship with the United States really is from day one of the creation of the country back in 1903. Obviously, the building of the canal meant that there was a heavy American influence, so we're very Americanized as a society. So I think for a lot of people, they feel like this is Dade South. Dade County in Florida, we're Dade South. Because we've got all of the comforts of home, all of the things that you'd be accustomed to seeing, so that it's easy, and of course with the connectivity, Copa Airlines and all of the connections that we have from the West Coast, from the Midwest, from the East Coast. So it makes it very easy within this time zone to be able to go back and forth. So I think that's a big plus for people who are thinking about, maybe our grandparents were thinking about going to Florida, but our generation is probably more comfortable going internationally. So from a Latin American perspective, I think it's very important that you feel very comfortable coming to Panama, because it feels kind of like, it's still Latin America, but it feels kind of like home.
Kind of like home, and yet very centrally located as far as sort of being a gateway to so many places as far as travel goes, or even time zones are concerned. You're kind of right in the middle of a lot of things. I came from the West Coast, from Los Angeles, and it's really tough sometimes, I think, to conduct business in Europe or other places, even Asia, because of all that time it takes to get there and the time it takes to converse and transact.
Absolutely, and that's what we have, is a very bilingual place where people, maybe they know a little bit of Spanish, but you don't necessarily have to have Spanish, because you can have yourself understood. It's not like Asia or Europe, where it's very much a challenge. In Panama, it's comfortable.
Yes. So let's say, for example, again, I'll use myself as an example, and I'm embarrassed to admit this, but my Spanish is very, very limited. For example, are you saying that I could actually conduct business here? I could actually own and operate a business here without really speaking Spanish?
Absolutely. The first step is getting a lawyer. So you get a good lawyer, he's fully bilingual. Health, that's very important. A lot of people think about, well, what about health? Well, we have board certified doctors who are at 3 or 4 major hospitals in Panama. So those are the two things that a lot of people think about. What is that health issue like? And a lot of people absolutely, those things are what you worry about. So that's very important. Lawyers, also very important. A good lawyer is fully bilingual, and that's, I would say, is your first transition, because there's documentation related to establishing your residency. So what you want to do is have a guy who will walk you through a guy or a gal, sorry, walk you through the process. And that's what makes it no muss, no fuss.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And I think that's something, again, it can seem really intimidating for somebody who wants to relocate here and is not sure about the implications upon their business in doing so. But I like that you kind of broke that down, and that, it's doable, I think, it sounds like.
It's hilarious, because my daughter got married last weekend. And there was some visitors from her group from college in the United States. And so this father of one of my daughter's friends came for the first time in Panama. In 3 days, he was already looking for real estate, because he said, this place is incredible. And this was repeated throughout the festivities, where people said, this is so wonderful. It's great weather, easily accessible from the United States, and it makes you feel welcoming. It's a very small country, and I think that's an asset, is we have 4 million population, so it's not like Brazil or Mexico, which can be daunting, and certainly politically they're in flux. Our stability is part of what makes us a desired location.
So it seems to me like a very unique blend of things that make it really attractive to start a business here or to conduct a business from here.
Absolutely. We are very open to entrepreneurial activity. I think it's opportunities abound because, yes, we are in Latin America, but we feel like somebody who comes in with a little bit of savvy can see opportunities and be able to exploit those opportunities for fun and profit.
If you were to boil it all down to, I guess, a very broad kind of overview, 3 reasons why people would want to move their business to Panama, what would you say?
I'd say number 1, accessibility. That's very important. In my experience with people and time zones, my daughter lives in Amsterdam, so that time zone difference is daunting. So the fact that we're on Eastern Standard Time, it means that no jet lag. I mean, jet lag for Asia or Europe is huge, so it makes for a daunting experience. Whereas if you're establishing a regional here, you're on the same time zone, so it makes it very easy. The ability to have a comfortable home. We've got real estate that abounds in Panama City, but also outside of Panama City. Here we are in Linton Bay. And this is an area that we're so excited about developing because we feel that there's opportunities for somebody who maybe doesn't like the city. I think the skyline is what blows a lot of people away because that's not what they expect when they get off the plane. You know, we've got some of the biggest high rises. And third, I'd say health, because certainly for people who are in mid to upper age, that's what you're going to worry about. And so we've got fully bilingual, and it's actually very cheap compared to medical tourism, for instance. Is a big opportunity that we see for people who are going to want to come from the United States to Panama to do some type of procedure that in the States is probably going to cost 10 times what it would cost here.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so yeah, it sounds like there's a lot of really, there's a lot of things that make it really attractive to be here in Panama. Well, thank you so much, Surse. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to talk with us. And we are excited to see kind of how Panama grows from here.